Man, I'm tired of carrying around this 12-pound rifle. Now, M1's never let me down, but I just wish there was something lighter.
Hey, gotcha.
What have we got here?
It's an M1 Carbine.
It's magnificent. Oh, it points like a dream. It's incredible. The OG PDW, the granddaddy of all pistol caliber carbines. Exactly what your grandpappy would have carried on the beaches of Normandy or the hills of Okinawa. Behold, in all of its glory, the M1 Carbine. The first real mass-produced US weapon designed not to be a weapon for the front lines, but for support and admin troops. Troops that aren't necessarily in the foxholes dodging rounds and ordnance. The folks that keep the war machine going. It was before the US involvement in World War II that the military noticed a gap in the small arms needs of the war machine. And well, some of the, not necessarily downfalls, but downfalls of the M1 Garand. It's a heavy girl, right around 12 pounds fully loaded. The 30-06 ammo was heavy and consumed a lot of space on soldiers' kit, meaning not only would it be more difficult to carry a large ammo loadout due to its weight, but it would also be a bit of a burden to find the space on all of that kit as well. And, well, it was a bit primitive kit compared to today's high-speed standards. Now, it sported a 24-inch long barrel, which isn't ideal in many circumstances other than field combat. Rather cumbersome, you could say, especially in a time when our soldiers just weren't quite built the same as today. An average of 5'6", 150 pounds in World War II compared to today, with an average of 5'10", 180 pounds. Now, think of your typical support troop who might not have had the same level of training and weapon proficiency and wasn't typically operating in a combat environment, but in and out of supply trucks, driving a medical jeep, coordinating troop movements behind the line, whatever. You can kind of see to begin why the need for this weapon here that was more than capable of a handgun and less cumbersome than a full-size battle rifle was absolutely needed. So the request was made. The military asked for a compact and lightweight personal defense weapon with greater range and stopping power and firepower than a sidearm. What they got? Behold, gentlemen, the M1 Carbine. Over 6.1 million of these bad Larrys were produced. So I think they must have liked something about it, right? So the gun itself. The M1 Carbine is a 17.75 inch barrel, gas operated short stroke piston gun with a rotating bolt. While it shares some similarities with the Garand, there aren't any interchangeable parts. It fires a .30 carbine cartridge designed specifically for the weapon. It was originally made with a 15-round detachable mag, but later in its life, it was upgraded to a 30-round mag. A couple variations and upgrades came to the carbine throughout its life, the most prominent being the M1A1 Paratrooper carbine variant with the skeletonized and folding stock, and the M2 carbine, which had a real neat trigger pack that could make it go rock and roll and put out a fire rate of 650 rounds per minute. Not bad, right? Weighing in at 5.5 pounds fully loaded, this thing feels much more like a toy than a firearm. It's so easy to carry and it points so smooth and easy. It's really rare to see something from this era be so light. The M1 Thompson and the Garand weighed twice as much as the carbine, and the bar, well, it was nearly 4 times the weight. Soldiers really favored lugging this thing around over the others, even knowingly it lacked the stopping power of the M1 Garand. See, it started as just a personal defense weapon for support troops, but when actual infantry units got their hands on them, they requested them to be supplied in mass. At the start of the war, it was very uncommon to see a frontline soldier carrying a carbine. By the end of the war, it had seen some of the harshest fighting possible. Officers, NCOs, mortar teams, radio operators, and other various infantry roles utilized the carbine, hailing its lightweight and handiness attributes. See, the M1 was a long rifle and would get caught up on brush, vehicle, and structure, doorways. When slung over the shoulder, it was harder for it to stay on your shoulder unless you slung it all the way across and usually had a pack on. Just due to the weight and length of the rifle, bumping around and off the soldiers' helmets and environment. I'm not sure the military had ever envisioned the carbine to be as well loved and heavily utilized in mass like it was. It wasn't even uncommon to see captured carbines in the hands of German soldiers at the time. There's numerous photos of German infantry units utilizing the captured weapon in combat. So it was chambered in the new .30 carbine cartridge that was designed by Winchester. It's a cute little guy, both the round and the carbine. I mean, just look at this guy. So it's a .308 caliber bullet, most commonly loaded with 110 grain round-nosed pills, with a few exceptions like a higher pressure load and some tracers and such, but it's such a neat little cartridge. It pushes 110 grain bullets just a touch under 2,000 feet per second muzzle velocity with just under 1,000 foot-pounds of energy. It's a fairly decent punch considering its size and especially its weight. Now, let's compare this to an 18-inch 9mm PCC running 115 grain plus P hollow points. It's going to run roughly 1520 to 1550 feet per second with only 425 foot-pounds of energy. When compared to the Lord's caliber 45 ACP with an 18-inch pipe, a 230 grain bullet will push 1,100 feet per second with a measly 500 foot-pounds of energy. When talking terminal ballistics, the carbine has a serious edge compared to the most popular PCC rounds of today, and especially for the time. While it has a max effective range of 300 meters, where this guy really shines is within 100 meters. It makes for a very ideal close range weapon. It's ultra light, it's short, and has a 15 to 30 round mag. In World War II, Marines really found the most use out of it, as they were typically in engagements much closer than the European theater, island hopping in the Pacific. Personally, at first, I thought it was kind of a meh little piece. I didn't quite truly understand it until I got out to the range and put some rounds through it. I love this weapon now. One of the neater guns to come out of the era. The best way to describe the M1 Carbine, it's just the pinnacle of handy. It's light, it has good magazine capacity, it points so nice and smooth and well. It's operated in some of the harshest environments of the Pacific, France, Korea, all the way to Vietnam. With good mags and good ammo, well, it's a very reliable weapon as well. There aren't many other weapons in history to serve in combat as long as the M1 Carbine. Prop it up against the wall in your bedroom for things that go bump in the night. Throw it in your UTV to ride around your property with. Pack it in on a small game hunting sticks. It can do it. So the question is, do you need one? Yes, absolutely. Go treat yourself, King. You deserve it.